I'm lucky to have Chris Donnell here today to chat with me on our chicks and tips. You're not a chick, but you've got great tips. Hey, Chris?
That's the one.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about trail running today because with the spectacle coming up, a lot of us are in training mode and preparing for that, and we're going to talk about race day strategy. And so, Chris, you're a bit of a runner?
Yeah, I've done a little bit in my time. So, kind of been running on and off since I was 9 years old. I'm now 37, so do the math. But yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's been quite a big part of my life. Certainly go on to both ends of the spectrum where I've just not done any running at all, and then I've got to the point where I just get totally obsessed and leave everybody out of my life, which is not what I'd recommend, but yeah, it's greedy runner syndrome, they call it.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of an obsession.
Yeah, definitely at times, for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
What would be your greatest running achievements?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think greatest running. Yeah, I mean, I can think of quite multiple for different reasons, but probably ones that really stand out to me. Probably Old Ghost Road in 2019 would have been definitely one of them. In fact, even that year 2019, I think was a good year for me from a running point of view.
Yeah, what did you achieve that year?
Yeah, well, I got second at the Old Ghost Road that year.
Awesome.
But the reason why that race was so special was because I was never really training for it, and it was just one of those days where I got a real late entry, and it was just pretty much just turn up and just give it a crack, really.
Yeah.
And I think going into it with no expectation really played well for me, because I was like, man, I just want to try and run 85 Ks was my main goal. Because prior to that, my longest had been 62 at Tarawera. And so that was always right, I've just got to get through to 60k, and then, man, I'm just going to be doing personal best for the rest of the day. And then, yeah, just that race, got a great day for it. I was running kind of with a training buddy who was leading, and then, yeah, just the last sort of 15k's just required just some inner strength, which I didn't think I didn't know I had, and then that race just taught me that you can go so much deeper than maybe what you think you can.
Yeah, cool.
And so I remember crossing the line, and those that have seen the after race interview, will know that I was swearing like a trooper, but I was just so in the moment, and just left everything out there. There's a lot of satisfaction in knowing, man, I just gave it everything.
That's
So
so
that
cool.
was probably the one that stands out to me a lot, I would say.
Yeah, and you went to Worlds, did you, for trail running as well?
Yeah, that year, I got selected to represent New Zealand at the Trail Running World Champs in Portugal.
Portugal, cool.
Yeah, so I'd never been to Europe before, and very lucky to get some sort of sponsorship, and a lot of people were backing me to go over there, and which they certainly made the trip easy from a financial point of view in the end, which was great. Just took that pressure off myself and the family, and work was great. Gave me the leave to go over there and do that, and but yeah, classic example. I just did way too much training.
Yeah.
Put this race up on this massive pedestal, and had a terrible race.
Yeah.
But it's just how it goes sometimes, and
I've heard that you've got to watch out that you don't burn yourself out before the race with too much training. Yeah,
100%. It's it's just finding that balance, and it's very easy to do. It's probably a bit like cramming for a test or an exam or something like that. But yeah, I mean, historically and statistically, most people get injured when there's a drastic increase in volume or intensity. So it's just trying to remember that, and just I think when you get to the start line, everyone always thinks, oh man, I wish I'd done more training.
Yeah.
That's how insatiable the sport is. It's like, man, I wish I did that. But then for me, I always tell people it's about kind of stepping back a wee bit from that and just you know what, I'm on the start line, because that's half the battle sometimes. I'm fit, I'm healthy, and
enjoy yourself.
I think so.
Yeah, well, that's funny because you said your one that you liked the most was the ultra, the Old Ghost.
Yeah.
You didn't have the pressure.
That's
You
right.
know, you just rocked up and were like, and that actually showed, and you did your best run, so it shows like your mental state must have been different. Yeah.
Oh, there's definitely something in that. I think, for me, I've never coped well with like that pressure from, and I think it's just the pressure I put on myself.
Yeah.
But, you know, because at the end of the day, like, no one actually really cares. It's like that internal pressure you put on yourself from being a competitive person, and I want the best out of myself on that day. And so what I always tell people with that feeling is like, well, you don't get that feeling every day.
Yeah.
So embrace that feeling. Like, feel the nerves, and like, because it's not like, you know, I haven't woken up today feeling nervous.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm doing a race.
Yeah.
But on race day, that'll probably happen. But it's about, like, I think in a weird way, just trying to enjoy all those different emotions that are going through the day, and like, because tomorrow you probably won't feel like that. So this is what's happening on this day.
Yeah.
Be where your feet are, and just kind of go with the feel kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Like actually have a good time and actually just love it, and like
because the nerves are. I think the nerves are. It's like your body's preparing for kind of like a battle. You know it's going to be hard. You know you're going to hurt. And it's almost like the body's preparing itself for that. And and that doesn't happen normally on a day-to-day basis. So this is what's happening today. I'm doing a race today, and I want the best out of myself. And with that comes a little bit of pressure and nerves, I suppose.
Cool. So I was going to quiz you on some race day strategy, just because I think like a lot of us will already be in our training.
Yeah.
Now it's not like, I'm speaking about the spectacle.
1 month to go.
1 month, yeah. So by now we should have our training plan already undergo.
Yeah.
But race day is like quite a big deal. So one of the questions I've got for you is, how do you start off fast or slow? Like, so it's all that nerves and you're there and everyone's there and it's like kind of, how do you...
So I'd always be an advocate for, depending on the distance, of course, but I'd always be an advocate for starting off a little bit slower.
Yeah.
There's a thing called oxygen debt, and there's probably a more technical term for that, but essentially it's, you basically just end up getting into a pace or oxygen debt, or your body's just unable to flush out that sort of lactate that's building up in your muscles. So it's about kind of like not taking it easy, but really staying within yourself, I think, is probably the best advice. Hey, you might need to get ahead of a, like a bottleneck. If the race was to bottleneck somewhere, you might want to try and get ahead of that rather, so you're not sort of stopped walking in places. So that that could come into play. But I would always aim for like what they call like a negative split in a race if you can, because it's very easy for.
What's a negative split?
So like a marathon would be a good example. It would be basically running the first half in this time and then running a quicker time in the second half.
Oh, okay. So when you're warmed up.
Yeah. And I would say as well, just letting the body kind of settle in, especially for that first few K, and then you can really find a rhythm. Yeah. You haven't got to the point where your body's trying to get rid of all that lactate. I've certainly tried both, and one way is a bit better than the other.
Yeah, so start off slow. Yeah.
But it depends on the race.
And the length of the race. But for a lot of us, we're doing like, for the spectacle, it's like, there's heaps of options. So the 21, the 50, the 100 are quite popular.
Yeah.
So that would be a slow game, eh?
Yeah, and then, but for the likes of like the 21 or the 50, you have to obviously, you'd want to do your research on the course. Yeah. So, for instance, the 21 and the 50, from looking at the course, it's not long before you're starting to climb. Yeah. And most people will understand that once you start climbing, your heart rate's going to elevate. So it's just being wary of that sort of thing. Yeah. But then it's about like just being really honest with yourself as well. It's like, where am I at the moment? Yeah. Like, have I had an injury leading into this race? Like, or vice versa. So. But to answer your question, I would say just ease into the first couple of K and then find your rhythm, I think. Yeah, that's cool. So that takes the pressure off having to get to the front straight away. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. How do you deal with hills? So everybody has a different kind of, I've been told not to run hills, but that's probably where I'm at.
How do you deal with them?
Yep. So, how would I deal with hills? So, I would deal with hills, again based on your fitness. But I like to say to people, like fast little ninja steps.
Okay, fast little ninja steps.
Yeah. So it's like, how can I explain it?
Fast little ninja steps. That's good.
Yeah, rather than taking sort of like long, like your normal running gait.
Yeah.
Like just think like bang, 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 bang. That's kind of how you want to run the uphill, I think. You want to try to stay tall. You kind of want to lean into the hill. But then again, like just fast little steps. And the good thing with the fast little steps is it also gives you a lot of options, particularly with the terrain. Like as opposed to like a long stride, it just gives you more foot placement options when you're going bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Same with the downhill as well, but we can talk about that a bit later. But that's probably the best tip. The other one that I also tell people with my coaching as well is imagining like a rope is around your waist, and you're kind of getting pulled up by that. So it's you basically just want all your energy going that way, essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
So all that falling energy is going into the hill, rather than sort of leaning back and kind of putting a brake on.
So like watching where your body's positioned is real important too.
Yeah, but I would always, look at sort of aiming towards, sort of all your falling energy going sort of up towards the hill. But I've always had a lot of success with just, the fast little
steps.
And trying to just increase your cadence and shorten your stride.
Okay. That's good. Good tips. What do you eat personally while running, and how often? I mean, obviously it depends on the length of the race, but so thinking about a big one.
Yep. Okay. I guess maybe we could use the 21 and the 50k for an example. So I'm trying to consume, like in a race environment, I'd be trying to consume for me like anywhere from sort of like 60 to 90 grams of carbs. And so for an example of that, I mean some of the...
An hour or?
An hour, yeah.
Oh, an hour. Okay.
Yeah, so it can add up, but I think the carbs is really important, and so same with the sodium as well.
Yeah.
Which, that might be drinking or having 3 gels, depending on how many carbs are in those gel packs. Some have got like 24, some have got 30. So it'd be like working that out. And then drinking, again, depending on temperatures. So if it's a hot day, you're probably going to want to be trying to consume a wee bit more sodium just because your sweat rate's going to be more. Yeah,
that's good to think about. Yeah, that's probably
for me, it could be anywhere from sort of 500 to, maybe 800 mils. Well, and then maybe like 750 grams of sodium per hour.
Okay, so you're really looking at it from a sodium carb perspective, obviously.
Old Ghost Road this year for me was probably the time where I feel like I've really got the nutrition sorted.
Yeah.
Like I've always been a little bit ad hoc with things and just sort of like, but I actually kind of really had a plan this time, and man, it paid off.
Made a difference. What was your main thing you had?
It was just, what I was just saying basically. It's just like, 30, or like I was trying to do basically, I had like a carb and a sodium mix in my drink.
Okay.
So I was getting kind of like the 30 grams just from a drink perspective.
What brands do you use?
Well, that race I actually used Precision Hydration.
Oh, yeah.
But in the past I've used Tailwind.
Yeah.
So both very good products, I think.
Yeah.
And I guess it just personal preference. So I've liked to, I've used a lot of Tailwind in the past, and then just kind of experimenting a little bit with different, just with my training and stuff. But that was really noticeable this year, was just having a focus on that. And I wasn't really looking at my watch for pace or anything. It was like, right, it's been 20 minutes, smash a gel back.
So so you were just it was constant, and it made a huge difference.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. If anything, I might have overfueled with because it wasn't. I think I'd sort of prepared for like a hotter day.
Yeah.
And those that did Old Ghost Road this year will know that the conditions weren't great.
Yeah.
Because we ended up doing an out and back course. So yeah, I think because I end up having to stop to go to the toilet 3 times, which is
So you maybe overfilled.
Yeah, I think so. But I think even just towards the end of the race, with 15k to go, I was like, man, I'm still feeling really good here.
That's cool.
And
you put it down to eating.
you gotta eat.
Yeah.
Gotta eat. I think any training run over 90 minutes, you gotta eat. Like, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
And it's not so much like, even like from a training perspective, it's about the recovery. So if you can eat well during your training run, chances are you'll be able to back up that run during the week quite comfortably.
Yeah.
Like, from a recovery point of view, you're good to go again.
Yeah.
But if you neglect that side of things, it's
like you got a hangover, eh?
Yeah.
Because you're so dehydrated.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like. We get them from hiking. Yeah.
Just eat. And then another thing I like to take is the wee sodium pills as well.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm sort of getting towards and like, honestly, once I've been doing that, it really sort of prevents a lot of cramping off.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have issues with cramp?
I used to.
Used to, but not now.
Yeah, I mean, again, the research is always, there's a lot of conjecture around it, and from things I've read, but I've always found success in being prepared for the race. So I think you can't compromise. You've got to do the training, right?
Yeah.
But then, I've always found once I really pay attention to my sodium, never had cramp.
Okay. Yeah. So because it's obviously just what's coming out, and your muscles aren't getting enough of that sodium.
Yeah. So that, I would say, like, if it's a hot day, like, make that a focus point, and you should be good.
Cool. That's cool. So I said like what electrolyte endurance you have. So you've said Tailwind and Precision, which is awesome. And the gels you used, was that the Precision?
This year I used the Precision ones.
Yeah, and they were good.
They were good. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, we love our Tailwind here. I'm going to give you some of them.
Oh, good.
All right. Do you have any pre-race night hacks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. So again, it's I've got 2 kids now, so it's always a little bit unpredictable. But I would, for dinner, like, I think during the week you want to probably have a focus on carb loading. Okay. Like, you might want to do it the night before, but I would say the most important times are actually probably 2 or 3 nights prior to the race. So just building up those carb stores. Back in the day, my old coach used to take us down to the pub, and he'd make sure we had 2 pints of beer.
Really?
And I know Olympians back in the day have had some success on that. I'm not trying to promote that, but it might work for you.
Because it's carbs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes the edge off things a wee bit too.
Oh, yeah.
So
chills you out.
But so I would, at the moment, what I do is, like anything, like, depending on what your preference is, like, I might just have like a pizza or something that's high in fat and carbs is probably a good thing. But then I've always been having a really strong electrolyte drink with dinner that night too.
Oh, like before the race?
Before the race.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so would you drink like a litre? Or just
a good 500 mils of like a really strong sodium kind of mix, I would say.
The night before?
Yeah, and then I would do that again in the morning, probably about 90 minutes out from the race start. Okay. I'd have one of those as well. Yeah, just sort of setting yourself up, just topping everything up.
So you're not going in under, you're coming in, like, that's cool.
Yeah. And so sometimes I always feel, again, depending on the race, like, you can kind of get away with that first hour. If you've had like a good breakfast and you've got that sodium up there, you can kind of like, right, through the first hour, all right, now let's start getting into that nutrition plan. Yeah. That's how I've always done it, but...
that's cool. That's good. Other people have said that about doing that little hack the night before too. Yeah. That's cool.
And then obviously, if you can get a good sleep, that's always going to help.
Sleep is king, isn't it?
Yeah, I would, like, magnesium. I seem to always sleep well when I'm having a lot of magnesium. I think that definitely helps.
That's cool. What do you like? So one of the other, that's good for race. Anything else? Or was that it? Race night hacks.
Race night hacks.
Pre-night, yeah. Pre-race night. Yeah,
pre-race.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I think probably just staying off the feet a wee bit if you can. Just
staying off the what?
Off the feet, just chilling out.
Yeah.
Like, don't go for a run or anything.
Do you rest up for like the week before? Pretty much. I mean.
Yeah, depending on the race. Yeah. Like, sometimes I've gone into a race and it's taken me about half the bloody race to actually come right. Just because I feel like so I'm always a big fan of just ticking the legs over. Yeah. Completely dropping out the volume and
But just keeping them moving, like walking or just doing a
Slow,
easy 5K.
Yeah, easy 5K. Like, I mean, if I'll go through, I'll use that as an example again. But, you know, like I did a 15-minute run on the Friday once I got to Westport. And the day before that was like a 20 or 30-minute jog.
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's about keeping that tension in the legs.
Yeah.
They're like, resting's good, but for me, I've found my body just wants to kind of shut up shop and go to sleep or whatever. And I don't know about you, but whenever like, not always, but you know, sometimes I'll just get sick. It's almost like the body's like, right, you can chill out now. And so I always like just keep it ticking over. But
yeah, I think I would probably have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I mean, it might even be just jumping on a bike or something like that, just to take that pounding out of the legs.
Yeah.
Jump on a bike and probably achieve a similar thing, I reckon.
Oh yeah, that's cool. All right, now what do you focus on while running? So like that's because like with your mind, like I just feel like it's a long time. Like, you know, to sometimes be on the track.
Yeah, sure.
Do you listen to music or do you just stay present? Like where would you say your mind is?
Yep. So I would say my mind. So yeah, I got some good advice by an old friend at the start of this year, and he basically said, and I'll use it. Thanks, Ryan. Be where your feet are.
Yeah.
So, you know, most of us have got like work and other external pressures and stuff, but I would always say like, this is what you're doing right now. Enjoy this. Like, don't worry about bills to pay or all that other high stress stuff. Like, just get totally present with, you know, you can almost make it quite a primal sort of feeling, you know, like, and running can be so simple, and it's like just that simplicity which I think is really enjoyable, and just, you know, just kind of, yeah, I think, you know what I mean, like just
be present.
Yeah, be present, but like there's just so much other BS going on in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm running through this awesome trail, and you know, I mean, the spectacle course, but both, they're just phenomenal courses, really. I mean, there's just so much to look at, and you know, coming, you know, the Copper Mine Trail and then going up around by Dew Lakes, like you'll just be totally immersed in the scenery, I think. And,
yeah.
And then, you know, does the 21 come down that Te Arakoa Trail?
I haven't looked.
I mean, just like the bird life in there is just nuts. But
just take it in.
Yeah, like you won't be doing that tomorrow. So like that's what you're doing right now. And just, but then I also get to the point as well where I start running for other people too. So like I start thinking about, like, I might think of like an old coach that I had back in the day, and I'm like, right, for the next like 20 minutes I might think about that person. And then
that's cool. That's a cool strategy.
Yeah, and obviously my kids come into that at some point as well, and it kind of makes it a bit emotional sometimes because you're just trying to inspire them at the end of the day, and you want to show them that like there's reward in doing hard things. Yeah. And so like, yeah, I start to think about some of the important people in my life. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think that really helps. Oh, I'm gonna try that. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Anything to think about besides sometimes the pain. Then, and the pain as well. Yeah. Like, kind of what I was getting back to before. Like, without sounding like a bloody cliche, just embrace it. Like, it hurts. Everyone's hurting, and it's kind of like arguing your limitations. Like, something's telling me to stop right now, and that'll probably happen to most people. Like, something in your body will tell you to stop and slow down. But how long can you argue that? How long can you push that away? And it's a little bit masochistic, but there's so much merit and satisfaction. It doesn't matter where you get. I always say to people, like, if you can cross that finish line and you're real honest with yourself, knowing that, I gave it bloody everything today. Like, there is so much merit in that. Like, and only you will know that as well. Like, people might say you've done a good race, but like only you know that. Yeah, if you just absolutely send it and can leave it all out there, I think there's, you can make it quite memorable doing it that way. Yeah. And hey, it's only that one day. It's that one day. That's what we got to do. Yeah. Well, and then maybe another one later on. But you know, it's all about that one day. Yep.
That's cool. And you don't listen to music then?
On a training run I will.
But not on the actual race day?
Not on the race day,
Okay.
no.
That's cool. Okay, one of the things that has helped me a lot is changing where I put my eyes. So do you always look how far ahead would you look?
Yep, that's a really good tip there. Like I think, like if you look straight down at your feet, I would say you're not maximising like your full potential in terms of being able to negotiate a trail properly. I'd say it's always about sort of scanning ahead and scanning back, scanning ahead, scanning back. And you might have to scan back because there's like a super technical bit that you're trying to negotiate or navigate through. But then, I guess it's a bit like driving a car. You know, you're looking ahead, right? Okay, I've got a corner coming up. Or geez, I've got a bloody climb coming up there. Or so you might want to get some momentum going into the hill. But I would say, no, not to the point, because if you're running like this all the time, you're going to get a bloody sore neck for one. But I would say like that nice sort of 45-degree angle, and you're just constantly scanning. And I think that's the big difference with trail running compared to road running, is that with road running you kind of you could almost close your eyes in areas of road running, but with the trail which can make it quite tiring by the end of the day, is I think your focus is a lot more heightened, just because you try not to roll an ankle, or you might have to like hop over some stones or through a little river or something. But I'd always say like looking ahead and just sort of kind of scanning ahead and back is always good.
Yeah, that's cool.
As opposed to just running with your head down like this.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I mean that's I think where you look is important. It's really important.
Definitely, because you might see something like 5 or 10 meters ahead, and you're like, okay, well, there's definitely a more efficient way of getting around that little bit there.
So you're giving your brain time to work it out.
And it's like driving a car, isn't it? Like you're just giving yourself time to make the best possible decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, cool. And all right, last question. The best tips for downhill, because I know downhill's a big part of this. This race coming up as well. So what would be your best tips?
Best tips are kind of what we were talking about with the looking ahead, but again it's the fast little ninja steps. But you also want to sort of tilt your pelvis forward a wee bit as well. So again, you've got all that falling energy is basically gravity's assisting. The worst thing you can do is, and I've notoriously been a terrible downhill runner, but moving to Nelson, I would say my downhill running has got quite a lot better. But I still struggle in this area. But it's about kind of just like taking the handbrake off, and it's about you almost got to throw a little bit of caution to the wind, because you can, like a good downhill runner can put some serious time into someone who's a little bit cautious. But I would say kind of take the handbrake off, but then use the fast little steps. Because again, it gives you so many options, not just like in front of you, like in terms of like a little gap between a rock, but even gives you a little bit of like lateral movement as well when you're going fast little steps. So I would say, the top tips would be just like, instead of sort of leaning back on the downhill, try leaning forward and just sort of see what happens. You'll just notice you'll start going that way. And then the fast little steps makes a massive difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's almost like, like a lot of football players tend to be good downhill runners because they've been doing like drills all their life, like those fast little drills. So, I would just sort of think like that, I reckon.
And then looking ahead as well. That's cool. Oh, great. That's all awesome stuff. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to add? Or?
No, not really. I mean, just I think the spectacle's going to be a really good event, and I'm probably going to get a bit of FOMO, I think.
I thought you're not doing it?
I'm not going to. I've sort of lost my mojo a wee bit with my racing, but it'll come back. I just sort of, I love getting out and training and going on runs with my mates and stuff at the moment, but I can see me getting a lot of FOMO with this one, and I'm sure I'll probably sign up for it next year. But
it'll be next year.
What?
Yeah, it'll be huge.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I think they've done a great job marketing it, and I think it's so good for the Nelson area. And I just think it's an event that caters for kind of every runner with all the different events they've got on. So, yeah, I can only see it being a real success. And so
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. But no, I'll get the mojo back, and I always sort of go ebbs and flows with my running. So.
Yeah, in different times of life.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Joe. Would you mind just grabbing that tailwind? Sorry. I was going to give you this little gift just to say thank you for coming in. We love the tailwind. So yeah, that's for you. Do you have caffeinated?
Yeah.
Cool.
This would be great.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, and thank you for your time. And yeah, it's been cool.
You're very
so
welcome.
we hope everybody got some good stuff out of that. And thanks for tuning in. And yeah, have a great day. See ya. Yeek.